The administration has been pushing Israel for many months now to allow more aid into Gaza. It's just not happening. I know Jordan has airlifted some aid in. I think the King was aboard the aircraft. And now there was an op-ed in the Post by a number of senators saying the U.S. should look at airlifts on its own as well as sea lift to get more aid into Gaza. Now, I know the Pentagon, I think early on, sent 3 plane loads of aid in for Gaza. Are you looking at anything along those lines, sea lift or airlifting aid in?
That's something that, I mean, we would, of course, coordinate any aid efforts with other agencies, but that's something that the helm would be taken by state and USAID. And depending on what the requirements are, of course, DoD would be on standby willing to assist. But you have folks on the ground like Ambassador Satterfield. You have other folks from the NSC in the region as well, urging for humanitarian aid to get in. Should the department...
Everyone said the same thing. It's not happening. So I'm asking, are you at least looking at providing either more plane loads of aid or going with airdrops or sea lift?
Again, that's something that state and USAID would be the lead on, and if asked DoD to help coordinate, to help get aid in, of course we'd be willing to assist, but right now I'd direct you to state and aid for more of those questions. Laura.
Thank you, Sabrina. A couple questions. First of all, on the Houthis, does DoD assess that the Houthi attacks have ramped up over the past couple days? It seems like we're seeing a lot more activity. And then can you also tell us how many ships, both commercial and military, have been damaged or taken offline by the Houthi attacks?
That's kind of similar to what Jen was asking, so I'll take that question in terms of U.S. ships and then commercial ships, so we can get back to you on that. I think, yes, we've certainly seen in the past 48, 72 hours, an increase in attacks from the Houthis, more consistency. But again, I think it'd be helpful to point out one of the ships that they did hit was the Ruby Mar, which has had to have its crew evacuated, which is currently still in the water, but taking on water as we speak. It's creating an environmental hazard with the leakage of all the fuel that it's carrying. On top of that, it was carrying it, to my understanding, as fertilizer. So the Houthis are creating an environmental hazard right in their own backyard. On top of that, as I mentioned at the podium the other day, they hit a ship that was carrying grain towards Yemen for their own citizens, for a starving population. So again, they're saying that they're conducting these attacks against ships that are connected to Israel. These are ships that are literally bringing goods, services, aid to their own people, and they're creating their own international problem.
And just secondly,
sure.
I wanted to ask you about Rafah. Has the IDF provided any plans to DoD about for its plan to protect civilians ahead of any kind of ground invasion?
I'm not aware of any plan fully presented to the United States to review. Again, we're not asking to check their homework. What we're asking them to do is put forward a credible plan that they will be able to, as we have said in many conversations, protect the over 1 million innocent Palestinians that are there. And of course, any credible plan would have to take into account food, medicine, services. How are you going to provide those as you move a population? I know that's something that they're working through. The secretary, of course, remains engaged with Minister Gallant, not just at his level, but levels here at this building and throughout the interagency, but I'm just not going to get ahead of any plans that Israel's working on right now.
Has not seen that plan yet.
No, we haven't seen the plan, but we're not also asking to grade homework here. We want to make sure that whatever plan that they do brief us on does include protecting innocent civilians in that region. Yes, Phil.
Excuse me. One question on Ukraine.
Sure.
And one on Red Sea.